How are you all? It's so good to see all of you again. You know, I'm part of this family, amen? And every time I come here, it's such an honor to really fellowship and worship with you. It's just been amazing. So we know that God is going to do something great today, amen? And no further ado, I'd like to tell you a little bit about this young man. He's only 25, as you can see. I'm only joking. Yeah, so this man, such a powerful man of God, been through so many obstacles in his life to a stage where God is using him globally. You know, he's an evangelist. He goes around the world as well. He's the CEO of Great Commission Society, and they have different branches and people working over globally as well. And could we all just rise up as we introduce this great man of God, Tony Anthony.
We just want to plant a seed to every word that we're going to say today, because I believe that God has sent me here, we know that, it's not a lot of people, but I really do appreciate it, and whatever is the word is, we have a seed here for you. And the name of the seed is building, so we're praying for our own building.
Yeah.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Well, on that point, can we just pray about that? So you're praying for a building.
Yes.
What's the name of your church? Thanks, because I knew everything. I knew the address. I was waiting to find out the name of the church. Somebody didn't tell me. Okay, let's pray for that, shall we? And sorry, largely Philippine.
Yes.
Dear Lord Jesus, we love you very much indeed, and we want to thank you for this day that you've made. We want to thank you, Lord Jesus, for creating us, and all of us have gone astray from you. We've been pretty filthy, dirty, and yet you still come looking for us. You find us. I thank you, Lord, that you paid for us at such a high price. Thank you so much, Lord Jesus. And I thank you, Lord, that all over the world there are your lovers, your followers all over the world, like right here in Jesus, the Voice of Hope Church. And my Lord, I just want to thank you so much already. We haven't even started, and this type of generosity, my Lord, I want to pray that you will please rebound it to this church. Please, I ask, Lord, that you would grant them the desires of their hearts to have a building, but only if that will glorify you. Lord, if it will glorify you more for them to not have a building, then I pray that that will happen. But Lord, if it means your name can be glorified, that this group can grow more, please, I pray that they'll be able to obtain a venue. I just want to pray that you'll make it possible for the finances, planning. So much is involved. And also we pray for the pastor who's been taken away, I understand, to the Philippines. I just want to pray for whatever that is, that you'll please give him the measure of strength he needs. And that, Lord, that you'll just pave the way for him, and that you'll be with him and his family back home. This afternoon we turn to you and ask for you to lead us through the service. I just want to pray, Lord, I really pray, Lord, that the only reputation that's being built is not mine or anybody's but yours. We only want to see your reputation being built up today. We only want to see you and hear from you. So would you speak into our hearts today, we pray, in your lovely name, Jesus Christ. Amen. Right, well, it's very, very nice to see you today. I'm very glad to have met you through the contact of my friend Eric, who's a dear friend, a dear colleague. I've come to really enjoy working with him, more than many people that I work with, and through Eric we got to meet Caitlin as well, who I think is an enormously gifted worship leader, and to meet the rest of you, so thank you. So what should we do this afternoon? I've been trying to think and work out as I'm sitting here, because I believe that we're all Christians. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, I hope so. Your worship sort of reflected that. I was going to maybe share my testimony. Would that be okay?
Yes.
And then maybe I can explain to you a message that you should be familiar with, but I'd like to share with you again, which is I'd like to explain the gospel to you. Not that you don't know it, but I think it's always helpful to hear the message. You know, this morning I was at a service and it was all about the gospel, which was fantastic. Only problem, we didn't hear the gospel. So we can talk about it and never actually hear it. And then maybe if there's time, can I maybe share something about what God's doing through the ministry globally? And is that a good place to start?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll start off with a video. Okay. Okay, well, can you hear it from the computer, maybe?
People often say the truth is stranger than fiction, and every now and then a true story comes to light that almost defies belief. Such is the life story of Tony Hansen, who, as a 4-year-old boy, was taken from his parents in London to live with his grandfather in China.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
His grandfather, a kung fu grandmaster, trained Tony in the art of Shaolin monk traditions of kung fu. After many trials and much suffering, Tony eventually becomes the world kung fu champion. As time passes, Tony is invited to work for the International Kung Fu Federation, an elite bodyguard organization protecting some of the world's richest and most powerful people.
Instead of shooting somebody in the shoulder or the leg to disarm them, instead of shooting the kid, I would shoot them straight in the face.
Then, tragedy strikes, and Tony falls into a downward spiral of self-destruction, which turns him into a bloodthirsty and violent gangster. Tony is subsequently incarcerated into the notorious Nicosia Central Prison, where he finds every form of human depravity.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Sorry, my speaker has obviously broken. I'm the author of a book called Taming the Tiger. This book has been in English for about 15 years. We got it in 39 languages. This is a revised edition. It came out 4 years ago. I suffered a terrible smear campaign from a group of Christians that were trying to attack our ministry specifically. So we brought this out, and now this is being translated. And I brought some copies for you. If anybody can't afford one, just take one, please. Basically, my mum is Chinese and my dad is Italian. He's actually half Italian, half Maronite. Maronites come from Lebanon. And I was born in England. And when I was born, my mum, she had postnatal depression. So she hated me as a baby. She just didn't like me. It wasn't her fault. This is a psychological thing, I suppose. And also, by the time I was 4 years old, my mum was not able to look after me and my dad at the same time. And so they sent me away from the home, and I was sent to a relation, if you can call him that, in China. I was told he was my grandfather. He was not my real biological grandfather, but I was raised in southern China, in Guangdong, for 8 years. I was raised there as a Buddhist, and I did not believe in God at all. And my grandfather, that's all I know him as, he was really harsh with me. Whenever he would speak to me, any time, he'll use a bamboo cane and he'll hit me in my face all the time. He made me bleed and bruise every day. I was so afraid of him. I don't remember how many mornings, but in the very beginning I remember vividly a number of mornings where he would rush into my bedroom, he would take a bucket of water and throw it over me and wake me up. Now I was about 4, as I said, and I'll be screaming and crying, what a normal child would do. He did not like that. He wanted silence, he wanted me to shut up. And he would just be going, shh, and would be hitting me. It didn't take him very much, but he would knock me out. And I was only 4, it didn't take very much. But he really treated me like an animal. In the mornings, we'll go outside into the courtyard. And in the mornings, my grandfather would teach me Kung Fu. Kung Fu was a long tradition in his family. And he wanted to pass on the tradition to the next generation. There were only girls in the family, which in China was considered to be bad luck to teach a girl. It was better to teach a boy, which is very narrow-minded. But I wasn't even related to him. But I was the only boy that he was able to teach. So he was trying to train me, and he didn't teach me in a gym on safety mats. I learned in the woods in a really barbaric way. And he abused me day after day after day in so many ways. I don't want to go into too many details, but he treated me like a dog. And he taught me how to fight. I was 11, 12 years old when I returned into England. I was now living with my mum and dad. We were living in a small council flat in North London. And my mum still didn't really want me around, but it was helpful because I could live with my dad. He was paralysed. And in England, I was sponsored by an organisation in Switzerland, the International Kung Fu Federation, and they sponsored me to continue training in London. So I was training in a Kung Fu school, developing my own technique, and I was going to China every year, fighting in competitions. These were competitions that were illegal. They were all about gambling. There were no rules. People got very badly hurt. It was literally a fight for the survival, I suppose, without exaggerating. And people got very badly hurt. Sometimes they got killed. And I was a teenager fighting full-grown men. I was really scared, although I would never, ever show it, because my grandfather would just hit me. But I just had to go there, and there would be no option. I never lost a single fight. I guess that's all credited to my grandfather. I entered the World Championships in my style, which is Tai Chi Chuan, Tiger style, and for 3 years, from 87 to 89, I held the world title in my style of Kung Fu. I was now working for the organisation, well I was already working for them as an instructor. I was teaching teachers, and we also worked for the security division. In our organisation in Switzerland, we would train people that would mainly come from the military, and there were people that wanted to go on to become bodyguards. We would train them in extra courses, and we would also give them assignments, because we would have our own clients. I was in a gym teaching hand-to-hand combat, just teaching men and women how to fight with your bare hands and feet, and how to fight with a knife as well. And I did that for a little while, until one day, one of our clients asked me if I would work for them as a bodyguard myself. Now, I was not trained. All I knew how to do was how to fight. But they wanted me, because naively they thought, well, if he can fight, well, maybe he'll be a good bodyguard. That was the idea, but I wasn't trained. So I did a crash course, I did many courses, and I continued doing them as I was working. And I was now working as a bodyguard for a very wealthy person who had more money than sense, really. And I was guarding this person. And I actually stopped the kidnapping from happening one day by myself, which was more by luck than judgment. And then I worked for a few people that were very important, actually. One of them was the Saudi Arabian ambassador in London. And I also worked for one of the owners of the Empire State Building in Manhattan, in New York. That was my life. I was finally working for the Saudi Embassy in London and also in other parts of Europe. One day, I met a girl in London, in Hyde Park. It was a lovely day, and I met this lovely girl. Her name was Aya. Aya was from Sweden. She was a law student in London, and she was the most beautiful girl I'd met back then. And when I met her, seriously funny, beautiful, a brain box. She was studying law, and well, I fell in love with her straight away. And we started to go out, which was lovely. 3 years passed, and one day I asked her to marry me, actually, and she said yes, thank goodness. I was working in Italy, and Aya was in a car in London at the time, and I received the news by phone that Aya was in a car in South London, and her friend was driving, but there was another car coming the other direction with some men that were drunk. And they smashed head-on with the car, and they killed her. And they killed her friend, and they died, and it was a horrible day. And I received the news, and I took the news so badly. I took it very badly. I was only a young guy at the time, younger than now anyway, and basically I took it so badly, I wanted to do something bad, something crazy. I didn't know what to do. I tell you, I wanted to kill myself. I didn't want to be here anymore. I really didn't see the point of living. I didn't care about anything. But instead of hurting myself, instead I just made so many stupid decisions. I turned so violent, more violent than I can possibly describe to you people today. I feel ashamed to talk about it, but I turned into something disgusting. You know, I was in a shop one day, and some guy, I probably looked at him in a horrible way or something, and he gave me the response I deserved. But the moment he said anything to me, I laid into him so badly, I nearly killed him. And this became a habit for me. I became so violent, I hated people so much. And I was so violent in my work as a bodyguard. We were travelling very often to the Middle East. My work was quite frequent in the Middle East, and I cannot explain exactly where, but there were times when we were in the line of gunfire, and my job was to protect my boss. And even though these are terrorists that are trying to attack us, I killed some people in this way. And even though I was doing my job, I feel very ashamed, so ashamed, and I sort of always have the stain of their blood on my life. Because I remember doing what I did out of sheer anger. I wasn't protecting anybody, I was an angry, horrible person, if I'm being honest with you. Just a complete scum. My boss gambled. He needed, if he gambled and somebody owed him money and they didn't pay him in time, I was the guy to go into people's homes or businesses and I'll make them pay me. I was a debt collector now, I suppose you could call me. And I was collecting money from people, and they often had their own bodyguards, and I would really hurt them very badly. And this is the idiot talking to you today. Finally, my dad, he needed money for an operation. There was an operation, a trial procedure that could have helped him. He needed a lot of money, but I didn't have the money. But he asked me to help him, and I just said yes, without a care in the world. Yes, I'll lend you the money. I didn't have it, but I knew where I could get it from. I was collecting debts from some pretty wealthy people. I could never really understand why they didn't just pay the money back, but I decided I was going to rob them. I started doing that, and that's what I was doing. I was doing robberies, burglaries, and fraud. I was breaking into hotel rooms in Cyprus. I was in Cyprus at this point, and if anybody got in my way, and that happened 1 or 2 times, I would really beat the living daylights out of those people. And really, I was so horrible in what I did. I gave the money to my mum and dad, And finally, the police caught me, thank goodness. When the police caught me, we had, again, a bit of a stupid time, because I was very arrogant, very, very aggressive, and the CID in Cyprus were being very corrupt, and one of them was pushing me. I really nearly killed him. But there were so many officers and policemen that came in that room, and they beat me with batons and guns, and they gave me a beating that I really needed. And I was on the floor, they shackled my legs to my handcuffs, and they would beat me every day. They would do this thing to me where they'll put me in a chair and sit on my legs as my feet are through another chair and beat the soles of my feet. They would do all sorts of crazy things to me and to get me to admit to these crimes. And they were ones that I did, by the way. I admitted to it, and they finally put me in prison. I was put in Nicosia Central Prison for nothing. It was only a small 3-year sentence. It was nothing. But the prison in Cyprus was horrible. It was a place where you had a lot of people from the Middle East. So that meant you had a different category of prisoner. Yes, lots of drug addicts, dealers and murderers, but you have political prisoners in there as well. From Jordan, Iraq, Iran, Palestinians, terrorists. You had people in there, they were very religious people, Muslims, and many of them were my friends. They were very intelligent people who played chess and backgammon, you know what I mean? But in this prison, every month, men would be so badly hurt in ways that you've maybe never imagined. They'll be beaten in horrific ways. They would be cut with blades that you break out the gillette that you shave with. Men would be gang rapes. Men would be killed. Every month, 1 or 2 men would die in the infirmary. And yeah, I deserve to be there, really. One of the things I think you learn when you mess up like I have, and you end up at the bottom of the barrel in prison, you learn who your friends are, you know? Because when you're in prison, well, you now need your friends out there to write to you or visit you. They're lifelines, they give you hope, you know. But none of my friends and family, my mum and dad didn't send me one single letter while I was in prison. And that's okay, because I didn't really deserve any letters, you know, because I was just bad news. But one day, you can imagine my shock and surprise when I received my first letter. I was in my prison cell one morning, and they had not opened the doors yet, and the guards were slipping the post under men's doors. And a letter came under my door. I was thinking, well, that's probably not for me, it was a mistake. But I looked at the letter. Wow, it had my name on it. Somebody wrote a blooming letter to me, and I'm really, really happy about that. And I looked at the handwriting, I didn't recognise it. I looked at the name, Michael. I didn't recognise the name Michael. But I read on, and it said, "Dear Tony, my name is Michael Wright, and I'm from Northern Ireland, and I'm living in Cyprus with my wife Elizabeth. We are Christian missionaries, and we are trying to talk to people about God. We saw your picture because you're all over the news."